This is the Monday Morning Mechanic. This is the Dirt Bike Channel podcast. This is Kyle Brotherson and my lovely wife, Karen. We're going to break down Daytona right now. Karen, did you love it?
Yes.
It's always a good sign when Karen's laughing.
Oh, man.
As soon as we start. She gets the giggles as soon as I hit record. We sit here and we're looking over like stats and we're talking about different things and all this stuff, and she's completely serious. And then as soon as I hit record, she starts laughing.
Well, in all fairness, you had to hit record twice because you were flumbling over your words.
Hey, I can flumble all I want.
Oh, I love it.
Is that a real word, flumbling?
Yeah, I just made it up.
Is it like fumbling, and what two words were you trying to combine?
I don't know. I just wanted to say flumble.
Flumbling.
Yep.
Daytona, it was the 50th running of Daytona. Did you know, Karen, that they've now, Daytona, this race that they're doing, the Supercross race in Daytona, actually predates the entire championship?
What?
Yeah, because they've been
intense.
doing now Daytona
50?
longer than the whole Supercross championship has even been around. So that's kind of a cool factoid. Here's another cool factoid. I feel like
Factoid
I feel
and
like that
flumble.
There's a guy who goes to all the Eastern Supercross press conferences. There's a dude. He's got a really deep voice, and he doesn't have questions. What he does is he just like busts out some 30-second long stat about numbers and all these different things and whatever.
Facts,
and then
numbers.
he's like, what'd you think about that? You know, he like so like, Eli, you've now won 4 out of 5 years. You've podiumed 675 times. You've wiped your butt 12 times. And,
oh my gosh!
And how do you feel about that? You know.
Oh, is that
Anyway.
the mode of this podcast today?
We laugh
Oh,
every time
man.
he comes on. Like, I've never seen the guy's face, and he's probably a really nice guy, but we laugh because he asks these questions that really aren't questions.
And we look at each other like, oh, there he is.
Like, well, there's the dude, you know, and he's giving him all this numbers and stuff. And you see the racers up there, like their eyes kind of gloss over because they're homeschooled, you know. So when he's talking about like, oh, you did this and you did that, and it's 65 times and 1 + 9 and carry the 4 and all this stuff, and they're just like, what is he saying?
The 4.
Anyway.
Jason Anderson in one of the podcasts did say, you know, we don't get paid to do math. We were all homeschooled. So.
He's like, I was confused the whole time. We're homeschooled. You got to remember that. Oh, boy. So, speaking of homeschooled, Garrett Marchbanks from Colville, Utah. He's a Utah boy. I think it's the first time a Utah person has ever won a main event.
Yeah, that's what they said.
It could
on
be
the
wrong.
Televisiones.
And he technically was born in Colville. Well, I shouldn't say he's born. They just say his hometown is from Colville, Utah. He did move and go to like South Carolina when he was like 14, you know, to do the homeschooling over there so that you can do the riding and everything. But congratulations to Garrett Marchbanks. He wins the 250 class. He wins the Daytona. I mean, it was the first time he won a heat race. He won his heat race, and it was the first time he'd ever won a heat race.
And it lit a fire in that kid.
Yeah, and then he goes out and he gets the whole shot, and he leads every single lap in that thing.
I loved it.
And he had pressure from Chase Sexton. Chase Sexton is the points leader. Garrett Marchbanks is just this guy that's kind of coming on. Apparently, he went pro when he was 16, and he's just had a number of injuries. He's probably 19-ish, 18, 19, somewhere in there right now. And anyway, so congratulations to Garrett Marchbanks. He got his first win ever at Daytona. And I think it puts him in the class. I think Travis Pastrana did that. Marvin Muscan did that. A couple other guys. There's like 4 guys now that got their first win ever at Daytona, and Garrett is one of those guys. So congratulations to Garrett Marchbanks. Another plug, Sorry, my mic just tipped over here. Another plug. I know I've done this a few times, but if you're not watching the 250 races, you've got to start doing that, because seriously, here's what happened. Ricky
My
Carmichael,
heart is pounding already, folks.
Ricky Carmichael designs these tracks. He's done it like 12 times. I don't know how that started, but anyway, they kind of crowned the whoops right before. So there was all the time qualifying and everything that happened during the day, and all the riders, were used to everything. And then right before the night show was going to start, the track crew went down there and they just kind of like put this extra crown on the whoops, like they were very, very nasty, apparently. And Ricky Carmichael goes down there for the opening ceremonies, and he's riding his bike around on. He's got a yellow RM out there, and he almost crashes in the whoops because A, he didn't have good lighting.
Yeah,
and
it's
B,
dark and he's got the spotlights on him.
yeah, and then all of a sudden the whoops were like super, super nasty, and he nearly crashed. He had to go off. And so
Yeah.
then what happened was in the first heat of the 250s, it was like carnage. One guy like does a front flip, and then like 4 or 5 guys pile up behind him. It was
At
nasty.
least 5.
It was
Yeah.
really nasty. And then in heat number 2, this is what was really, really crazy. So you've got, I can't even remember who was in the lead. You've got like
doesn't
Jeremy
even
Martin or
matter.
something. Anyway, number 68, Nick Gaines.
Oh, was it McElrath?
No, it's not. McElrath won the first heat race.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the second heat race
There
I'm
were
talking
2
about.
crashes. I'm
Nick
getting them mixed up.
Yeah, well, both of what I just said is both of them start out nasty. I'm just talking about the second one now. The first heat, there was a bunch of nastiness in the whoops the first time through. The second time, you got the first 2 guys make it through the whoops okay, but Nick Gaines starts to lose it, and he front flips over the bike, does a nasty crash. Well, guess who's right behind him? Chase Sexton, your points leader and your defending champion. And you guys gotta go Google this or look it up on YouTube. If you look up just like Supercross round 10 in Daytona, look for the 250 highlights. Freaking Chase Sexton hits Nick Gaines in the head with his fork right about where the number plate is. So you see Nick Gaines like front flip over the bike, pile drive his head into the ground, and then his head pops back up. And then right when his head pops up, Chase Sexton hits him in the helmet with his right fork, right between the 2 triple clamps, and literally pops the kid's visor off. It almost spits into the stands.
Yeah, it was just a couple of feet from the stands.
It just kind of hits this little barrier right between them and the people. And we had to watch it like 6 times. It's probably one of the nastiest things I've seen in a Supercross track.
My heart rate went up just thinking about it.
Because he literally just got destroyed by Chase Sexton's, and Chase Sexton was trying to miss him because the guy had like drifted all the way across the track. He started messing up kind of in the middle of the whoops, and he started drifting right, and then he goes over the bars, pile drives his head on the ground, his head pops back up, and then whack.
So his bike though, kind of stays a little bit. I thought he was on the left side and it went to the middle, and Chase was right behind him, and the bike starts tumbling. So Chase starts moving to the right as he's going through. But poor Gaines, he gets launched off to the right in front of Sexton, and Sexton can't do anything about it
He's
but
just trying
plow
not to
into
crash.
him.
Yeah. Sexton's just trying not to crash because he's going through a nasty set of whoops that then they knocked down. After that, after those 2 heat races right before the 450s went on, they took a big old bulldozer and they just went and rode over the whoops and like
packed him down
so they weren't so freaking dangerous, because they're like, wait a second, this is not right. This isn't what we had in practice. I don't know what happened with the track crew right there. But so they went through and they fixed those up because it was carnage. It was absolute carnage in those first 2 heat races. It was, you had, after Nick Gaines goes down and gets smashed by Chase Sexton there was like 7 riders down.
And even one of the medical crew guys, as he's running to go see Gaines, he trips and falls. And I'm like, poor guy, you know, he's walking and he falls. There's people on the ground everywhere, bikes, people, you know.
Oh, it's funny.
Paramedics, whatever. They're all on the ground.
But congrats again to Garrett Marchbanks because he gets his heat race and he gets the whole shot in the main. He had a perfect night. Like, you can't do any better. I guess the only other thing he could have done is qualify first for the night show. Said he qualified like 4th or 5th. But he was
4th.
It was a dream night for him. That's something that he will remember as long as he lives and beyond, because that was pretty cool. Chase Sexton obviously gets 2nd place in that race, and the funny thing about Chase, or in the main, Chase Sexton gets 2nd in the overall main event. He didn't seem too happy about it. It was just kind of funny because he seemed kind of down. Like, if you go watch his podium interview, and he's like, no, I'm not happy to get 2nd, and then, not to fast forward too much, but Ken Roxon got 2nd also in the 450 main, but Ken was much more positive,
Yeah.
So I was just like, Chase wanted it really bad, and he probably saw that Garrett Marchbanks was in front of him, and he couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
And I think he was like really down on himself because he's like, I should be able to catch that guy and I can't. And the funny thing is, it's situational. Like, sometimes a guy is just faster than you. Garrett Marchbanks just had the ride of his life, And Sexton, you couldn't catch him, and don't be so hard on yourself. You know?
Yeah. It's almost like Chase Sexton was watching that Jerry Seinfeld live thing, and he's like, "This is second place. That's the first loser," you know. And I think Chase Sexton took that to heart because he was so down. I'm like, "You got second overall, like that's or over." You know, in the night. And that's amazing.
And you extended your points lead.
Like no loss, really. You did great. And you fought through a hard track and you got second. And that's amazing. But he's like, Jerry Seinfeld, nope, this the first loser.
Yeah, so
mad.
Chase needs to just realize that because right now he's number one in the points and Shane McElrath is behind him now 10 points. And Chase needs to realize that you don't have to win every race. You just need to beat Shane McElrath every race. So if Shane McElrath is in second place, you better be first. That is all that takes. Like at the rest of this season, you just continue to beat Shane McElrath, and it'll pretty much take care of itself. You know, obviously RJ Hampshire too. The only people he needs to really worry about are, you know, Shane McElrath and RJ Hampshire. I guess technically Garrett Marchbanks is only... He's 1 point away from the top 3. I just looked at that. Yeah.
So Garrett Marchbanks, he's 1 point behind RJ Hampshire, and I hope he wins because I've got beef with RJ. I don't know why.
Karen's not an RJ fan.
I'm a Garrett fan.
Jeremy Martin got third, which was nice to see. He just kind of had his own race back there. That's one of the things about Daytona. It's a lot of times it's not the most exciting racing, and I felt like the 250 main event wasn't that exciting. Everyone just kind of got into their grooves, and then there was no passing happening. After like the second lap or third lap, I could be wrong, but I feel like nothing happened. It was just watching guys go around.
Yeah, you know? I mean, there was a few passes here and there, but
not really in the top 5, or I don't think there were any top passes in the top 5 after 5 laps. You know, and it was funny that Shane McElrath couldn't make up time. Because he won his heat race, and then in the main he just kind of disappeared. So obviously starts are key, but I was a little disappointed that he didn't pull up and make anything happen. Pierce Brown, though, also a Utah guy, he ended up in 6th place. So it was a great night for Utah guys. You know, you had two Utah guys in the top 6, Pierce Brown and Garrett Marchbanks. So that was pretty fun. Moving on to the faux fitties. The faux fitties. I'll just run through the top 5 here. Eli Tomac gets 1, Ken Roczen gets 2, Cooper Webb gets 3rd, Jason Anderson is 4th, Justin Barcia is 5th, and then Aaron Plessinger is in 6th. If you would have said at the beginning of the race, you know, that it's going to be Eli, Ken, and Cooper on the podium, I don't think anyone would be that surprised. And even Jason Anderson, you know, did what he was supposed to do by getting 4th. That was nice to see because Jason has had he's been up and down. He's had a couple, like a 10th place and 11th place, and it's like, Jason, buddy, you can't do that. And so it feels much better to see Jason Anderson in 4th place. But what were your overall thoughts on the 450 guys, Karen?
So I obviously am a Ken Roczen fan, and I was rooting for him the whole time. But I mean, around, like 8 minutes to go or something, that's when things started to look like it's not going to work out.
Just because Eli starts to turn it on.
Yeah, he's like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. And we all know Eli can do it and does do it. And so I was just hoping that, you know, Kenny Boy could keep it. And he was really close there at the end. He just, you know, tucked into one of the tough blocks, and Eli went around him, and then Ken could stay with him really close. And even in the final jump, you know, Kenny Boy is right behind him. So
like 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, it was so close. And yeah, I mean, props to both of those riders. They did great.
Yeah, so in this case, the 450 race was much, much more interesting. There was a lot of stuff happening for the whole race. And like I said before, this Daytona race sometimes just is a little boring sometimes because it seems like it just, like in the 250 class, everyone just falls into the rut where they are, and the track is so difficult that they just have to try to almost survive. But in the 450s, there was actually stuff happening, and it was really cool to watch. And Eli, he's won there 4 out of the last 5 years. I said something to Karen last night during the race that I said a few times, and she finally made me stop saying it. But I'm like, this is Eli Tomac's house. Like, this is where he lives. Like, this is his place.
Like, stop saying that. Kenny
And
boy, we want him to win.
yeah, even like you got 12 minutes to go in the race, and Eli was 8 seconds off, and he was like in 4th or 5th, and I'm like, he's going to come back and win this. In fact, I said that he was going to win it by 5 seconds. Even when he was down by like 7 or 8 seconds, I was like, Eli Tomac is going to come back and win this by 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Because there's something about the way Eli Tomac rides, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But if I had to describe the way I think Eli rides, he is manhandling the bike. I swear he is using more energy than anyone else out there, but he has enough strength and enough fitness to actually make it work, and he gets better as the race goes on. So I don't think I'm not saying that he's doing it wrong. Obviously, he's Eli Tomac, he's doing it right. But what I'm saying is he just looks like he is forcing the bike to succumb to his will. Whereas Ken Roczen is just like fluid on the bike and poetry in motion, and it doesn't look like he's spending a lot of energy. He almost looks slow, even though he's going fast. He's smooth. Cooper Webb is more like a tactician on the bike, where very technical and doesn't look like he's going that fast, but he makes it all up in the corners.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you've got a track that has got a lot of corners and it's super tight, I feel like that's where Cooper Webb's going to excel. Eli Tomac is going to be excelling when there's not quite as many corners. And so I think that's one of the reasons why he does well at Daytona is you got a lot of long straightaways. Mm-hmm. You know, because they're racing in that tri-oval there on the grass part there at Daytona. And so there's going to be a lot of straightaways. And I think that's where, you know, Eli Tomac really shines. And then Ken Roczen is kind of like a blend of Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac, where he is more in the middle. And so it was fun to see, you know, Ken Roczen lead that race. I mean, Ken Roczen gets the whole shot. First off, Ken Roczen wins his heat race, and Cooper Webb won his heat race, because both of those guys are better at starting than Eli Tomac. If Eli Tomac had the starting ability of Cooper Webb, he would already have like 4 championships. Like, I mean, I don't see it any other way, but Eli doesn't start that well, and then he charges through the pack, and you got a race like this, and Eli Tomac is just going to own it. And I don't think Eli Tomac is done winning. He's now won 4 at Daytona, which ties him with Ryan Villapoto and, I don't know, like Bob Hanna or somebody. I think Eli Tomac is going to win another one. I think if Eli Tomac comes back and races next year, which I don't see why he wouldn't, he will get 5. I bet you he'll get 5 in 6 years, and he will tie Ricky Carmichael. Because Ricky Carmichael
winning next year, mark my words.
Because Ricky Carmichael has won 5 races at Daytona. But let me ask you this, Karen. Let's say Eli Tomac races for 2 more years. He has 2 more shots at it. You think he gets a 5th one?
Yeah, I think so.
So you think next year Ken Roczen will get Daytona, and then the year after that?
I do, because Ken Roczen wants it so bad.
He does want it bad, and that was the most encouraging thing to me was, okay, so here's what Ken Roczen is laying down all these good laps, and he's just out there, and he's like 4 or 5 seconds up. You watch Cooper Webb start coming up through the pack. You see Eli Tomac coming up through the pack. Justin Barcia freaking tipped over or something in the sand and let
what we
Eli
need to talk about.
I mean, that was super disappointing, because I saw it's like, oh, look, now, you know, Eli Tomac has got Barcia right in front of him. That's going to be a hard pass. And then Barcia just like lays an egg and tips the bike over in the sand.
Did you just say lays an egg?
Yeah, he laid an egg and let Eli buy him.
Little golden egg.
I wanted, because after last week, because there was those fireworks last week after the race.
Yeah, and I was hoping that they would actually, bump a little bars. Not that anyone would get hurt, because I never wished for that. But I thought, I wanted Barcia to put up a fight, a little bit for when Tomac would try to pass him. So that way, Tomac would have to work harder for it, and he crashes, or I can't remember exactly how it went, and then he just was easily getting around Barcia. I'm like, no, and we all yelled out loud in our house.
Barcia would not have let him by easily.
No. Especially not after last week. So,
and we were like, "Oh, look, it's perfect here." If you guys haven't seen it, after Atlanta, there's a little clip of Barcia and Tomac really getting heated. It's funny because Barcia was complaining about how Tomac passed him hard, and it's like, dude, your nickname is Bam Bam.
Yeah.
And Eli yells back at him. He's like, "Have you ever passed anyone without touching their bike?"
And they're like in each other's faces.
Yeah, they're
so
like,
fun.
and Eli was kind of awkward with it. He has like this weird laugh, this awkward laugh at the end or whatever. But the point, I actually was siding with Eli Tomac on that one, because it's like, dude, Bam Bam, you hit everyone when you pass them. You've passed people aggressive your entire career, and then I pass you aggressive, and now you're over here you're dropping F-bombs at me? You know, it's like, it's racing,
and then
man.
Tomac's like, you finally found someone just as crazy as you, or psycho.
Just a psycho.
Psycho as you.
Yeah. Eli Tomac is yelling at Bam Bam going, you finally found someone as psycho as you, and he doesn't give a shiz. You know, and it was just, I mean, the tensions are high, and I actually loved it. I wish we could see more of that. And so I was thinking like, oh, look, now Bam Bam is right in front of Eli Tomac, and we're going to get like the follow-up to this. And then like Justin just tucks a wheel and lets Eli go by.
Oh, that Justin.
Super anticlimactic.
I know. I was impressed with Cooper Webb and how, he had that massive crash, I should say. He got launched and then landed on his backside
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And I was just so impressed how he was able to do so well last week in podium. And then he also podiums this week. And someone in the post-press conference, asked him something about, how he's recovering or whatever. And he's like, well, yeah, that was basically 2 weeks ago. I'm fine now, but the average person, you, me, everyone else on the street would be like, I'm out for like 6 weeks. He is so tough-minded, tough body. He is so impressive. And I don't know. I can't say enough good about that.
Yeah, I had an ankle sprain about 12 days ago. It was a little bit of an ankle sprain, just tipping over on a bike and landing on a rock. And
he's been complaining about it.
Well, it's because I just mentioned yesterday I got back from a ride with the boys, and it was hurting me. It was impeding my riding, and I was worried about it. And I didn't slam the concrete like, Cooper Webb did. So to back up what Karen's saying, it's just kind of unbelievable how tough these guys are.
Yeah.
But it was fun to see, Cooper going up through their pack. Ken Roczen had that thing. He makes a mistake with about 2 minutes left. There was just this one little right-hander thing where they basically come to almost a stop, and they're just kind of coming around one of the corners, and he just kind of tipped it. And it was a little bit of a bobble, and that was all Eli needed. And so Eli just, takes the lead right there. The nice thing, though, is Ken Roczen didn't roll over and die. He stayed right there within a second. Or a second and a half of he finished less than a second, but he never got more than like 1.5 seconds away from Eli in those last couple minutes, which was nice to see. Because if Eli made any mistake at all, like
Ken was going to be able to seize on that.
Yeah, and the frustrating part for Ken is, maybe there was another bobble that we didn't see because they didn't have the camera on him the whole time.
He was a little squirrely in one of the whoops I saw in one of the camera angles.
But I mean,
it slowed him down.
But that happens. I mean, like, whoops, you're going to get squirrely a time or two. But I don't think he made any other mistakes. So he basically rode a nearly perfect race. He just got beat by the best person on the planet at that track, who happens to be, that guy running the number 3 plate.
And sharing the red plate with you.
Yeah, and so they go in. It was perfect because you're sharing the red plate. You're tied at 200 points. All this stuff. The only downer to this season so far, as I look back, is that Cooper Webb had that crash, and so he's now how many points back is Cooper Webb total?
He's at 197.
29. He's 29 points back, and that was because he almost got no points because of a couple weeks ago in Arlington. If he was able to have a decent night that night, he's probably within 10. Of these guys, and the points race will be even tighter. And literally, it is such a cool championship run this time because you have 2 guys that are right there. Ken Roczen is 3 points behind Eli Tomac, and we're deep into this season. This is round 10 of 17, so it's awesome. It is so awesome. Like, the racing is really, really good. There's a lot of parity. People are, some are good at, but it isn't as fun if, Ryan Villapoto is just running away with it.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to have some competition.
Totally, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like next week, wherever they are, I can't even remember where they're. Oh, isn't Indianapolis? I think next week, Cooper Webb, Ken Roczen, or Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, or Ken Roczen could absolutely win next week, and no one would be surprised. Would you be surprised if Cooper Webb won next week?
Not at all.
No, you wouldn't. Like,
no.
No one, and so you've got at least 3 guys that wouldn't shock you at all. And Jason Anderson could still get a win. I think some of these other guys, it's starting to not look as good. Barsha, I'm not I'm not convinced. I don't think Varsha's going to win again. Aaron Plessinger, I don't think he's going to get his first win. Dean Wilson, probably not.
But Aaron Plessinger, he was so impressive on this track. Super impressive.
Yeah, well, he got second in the heat race. He ran a really good, he had a good night. I think Aaron Plessinger is another guy kind of like Eli Tomac, where this type of track suits his style a little bit better, you know? So, anyway.
It was fun to watch. And then also, don't forget about Ryan Sipes.
Oh, yeah. So Ryan Sipes, you guys might know him as General Sipes. So Ryan Sipes ends up 16th. I think he had something happen. I think he got tangled up in the, and you guys might not know who Ryan Sipes is. You might want to tell people who he is. Ryan Sipes is this dude that basically he's trying to prove, I don't know if he's trying to prove, but he is one of the most talented people on two wheels ever. He's racing all these different disciplines. I don't quote me on all this stuff because I don't know as much about Ryan Sipes as I should. All I know is that he races outdoor stuff. He races things like Dakar. He races things like flat track. He's even racing some street stuff, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. The point is he's racing all these different disciplines. He's not just chasing one thing.
He's not training just for Supercross.
Yeah, he's not just training just for Supercross.
Becoming a well-rounded two-wheeled rider.
I think, and he's like 25. I think this is the first Supercross race he did this year. But he goes out there and he qualifies immediately. Like, seriously, Martin Davalos did not qualify straight into the main. You know what I mean? And Martin Davalos does this full-time for his living. And Ryan Sipes is just out there doing his thing. And he's like, oh, I'm going to race Daytona this time. And then I think he did like 2 or 3 races in the last couple of weeks of different disciplines. So it's like flat track on one and off-road on one and blah, blah, blah. You know, the point is he's racing all these different races and all these different disciplines. And it's just super, super cool, you know? So, and check it. He gets 16th in overall. And I think he got held up there somewhere in the beginning because he was like 19th in the first or second lap. So he probably got tied up with a bunch of other people in some carnage in the first turn or something. It was cool.
And Blake Baggett.
Double B. He didn't race. He was out.
He crashed.
Yeah, and I couldn't. Do you remember what happened? It was in the heat race or was it in the main that he crashed?
No, it was in the main, I thought.
He's had a hard couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I thought season.
It was on his head.
Yeah.
I thought he hit his head.
Blake is having a hard season. And you know who we didn't see? I didn't even think of this. You know who we didn't see yesterday?
Huh.
We didn't see Zach Osborne. What happened to Zacho?
We didn't?
I'm seeing.
Didn't he crash last week?
I can't remember.
He usually crashes. Sorry, Zachy.
I cannot remember because I'm looking at him in the points, and he's kind of back here in the back. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is Chad Reed. So Chad Reed goes out there. He gets 13th in his last ever appearance.
He got the whole shot.
He got the whole shot in his heat race, right?
Uh-huh.
So that was kind of fun to see. Old man
Chad.
I think he's turning 38 next week or something, so that's pretty cool. You know who I was disappointed with is Justin Hill for getting 9th.
Oh.
Justin Hill is a guy, I think Justin Hill is a top 5 guy.
I was hoping Justin Brayton would do better. He was the Daytona guy. Was it last year?
2 years ago,
2 years ago?
Justin Brayton wins Daytona. You know what? He finished 10th, and that's because his number is number 10. So
is that why?
He's probably just getting paid to do that.
Oh.
Because Aaron Plessinger was one off. Because Aaron Plessinger finished 6th, but his number is 7.
You can't win them all, AP.
So Aaron was, I wish that Eli Tomac would start doing that. Since Eli's number is number 3, he just needs to start,
Cooper Webb is number 1.
Well, technically, though, Cooper Webb is number 2.
Sure.
So
but either way, it's good.
Yeah. Anyway, so the one thing we don't want Ken to do is start going with his number.
Yeah, we do not want that.
That would be
Roxanne. We even had our little 2-year-old cheering Roxanne's name. She says it a little funny. It's like Waxen.
I don't think I've heard her say that.
She was sitting next to you on the couch.
Yeah, but I was yelling too much, and it was loud.
You were yelling.
It's loud.
I finally had to tell him to stop yelling so much because I couldn't hear the commentary.
You know what she said? She's like, "Stop clapping," because I have this clap. It won't come through on the podcast.
No, it won't.
So I won't even do it for you. But I have this clap. First, I have the snap.
You should just try it.
There's the snap. Anyway,
it's
loud. The clap though.
It is so loud.
Did I just break your speakers? I'm not. No, because I'll go.
No, you can't hear it on these.
But it's pretty
mics.
Loud, I guess. Karen says it's loud. Because
I just get
excited.
It's loud.
I just get excited. I'm like, look at this. Get it.
Stop talking. I can't hear anything. I had to put him in his place yesterday.
Yeah,
Man.
She made me be quiet.
Most wives are like, turn that down. I'm like, I can't hear it. Turn it up.
Yeah, but you're always telling me to turn things down. I'm always turning the
Supercross.
volume up on movies. You're like, turn it down. The kids are sleeping. And I'm like, we're in the basement. And it's fine.
Yeah, but I have a love relationship with Supercross, and I don't want anything interfering. I wanted to be able to hear it.
Yeah.
You've created a monster.
I didn't create anything.
You did.
I didn't do any of this. You came that way. No, actually, I think I did. I think I did get you into Supercross. You were more of a, Arizona Diamondbacks fan and a Arizona
am an Azu fan.
Arizona Cardinals fan, even though you probably can't name 3 people on their team. I can.
What would you do if I did?
Go for it. Name 3 people on the Cardinals team right
Hold
now.
on, let me look it up.
Yeah, exactly. What was our Instagram report this week? Did you learn anything on Instagram from the race?
I didn't. There was a lot of lamos.
Oh, what about Jordan Smith in the 250s? Because he ripped it, like he hurt his knee, didn't he?
Yeah, he went in for an MRI, but he hasn't reported officially on his Instagram what the outcome was.
I bet you anything he tore his ACL.
I hope not, but it looked bad.
It did not look good. Jordan Smith in the 250 class, he's had a really, really hard season.
The bottom half of his leg went one way, and the top half of his leg went another way.
And
that means his MCL or ACL is torn.
And then he was immediately grabbing his knee, and he didn't get up. He didn't finish the race. I can't remember if it was in the main. I think it was in the main. Anyway, Jordan Smith, hopefully you're okay, but he had a freaking bad night,
We gotta hear about our 250 guy. We gotta follow up with him and see if he's okay.
Which guy?
He's even alive.
Which guy?
The one that got hit in the face.
Oh, what was his name?
Oh,
Nick
crap.
Gaines, number 68.
Gaines.
Hey,
Yep.
Nick, if you're like conscious because you probably got knocked out, if you are awake, just send us a text because that was the nastiest thing, dude.
So nasty.
Like you talk about concussion. You cannot tell me that wasn't a concussion.
100%, maybe twice.
Because if he didn't get concussed on the crash, which is possible he might not have, when Chase Sexton's fork pounds you in the head, that's like getting hit by a car.
And he was hauling.
Oh my gosh. And Chase was off the gas trying not to hit him, but just watch it, guys. It's a gnarly one.
Ugh.
Okay. So that's what we got. Next week will be Indianapolis. Karen and I are still trying to decide which race we're going to go to.
We're going to Seattle.
Are we?
Then the week after that's Detroit and then Seattle. So in
A couple
2
weeks.
weeks.
We need
or
to get
3
our
weeks,
plane
yeah.
tickets.
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
All right. That's all we got for you. Karen, do you want to say it now?
No, premature music though at the end.
No, it wasn't. Go ahead and leave a single track, guys. Thanks.